Hello, I'm Carole Rupniak, a member of Horsham Artists. I'm here today to talk about a series of paintings that I have done and still continue to do, which are inspired by caves, very sort of stalactite limestone structures, which is something I started doing probably about 20 years ago, but I only started recently bringing them out about 5 or 6 years ago. These are ones I really love doing. They are very different to some of the classic oil paintings that I do because they are quite quick, but at the same time they take quite a long time. They're very stressful to do. You can't just put your brush down and go and put the kettle on. These are very different. You have to finish it. Otherwise the moment goes or everything gets ruined and the paint dries. It's done in acrylic, and I'll bring it closer so you can see it. So the idea of these paintings is to add distance by adding different layers of the paint as it's applied to the canvas, and these happen very accidentally. You have the initial background. Deciding on a colour is actually quite important, and sometimes they can go completely wrong and you have to either scrap them or start all over again. The idea here is to find a point of light, and I think the light is here and here, and once you've established that, you can then start to build your painting and put in lots of detail and highlights as to where you think that light will go, which again is something I really love doing. To add a little bit of dimension to these paintings and to enhance the lighting of where that light source is coming from, I started to add these round globes, which is something again I did about 20 odd years ago. I went through a phase of doing lots of globes, and it was really good practice for me, being that I wasn't very good back then with lighting, and it taught me a lot of things about depth and distance of paintings and where light comes from. So I added some of these globes, some behind, some in front, and then I added some highlights on them to emphasize where the light would be coming from within that cave, if you like. And it gets to a point where you start one and then you do another one and then you add another one, and then perhaps I'll just pop another one in, and it needs 3 more there, and you get carried away, and before you know it you've got a multitude of globes all sort of suspended in this cave hovering around. And these are a series I've done of about 10, and I'm not sure I will do any more because I think it gets to a point where you need to stop and move on. Maybe I'll bring them back in again in a few years' time, but I really enjoyed doing these, and it was really good practice for me to be able to experiment and hopefully get the lighting right. So yeah, really pleased with these.